Okay, so we have to talk about the Madison, because it is the key project to understand the future of the Yellowstone franchise. And not just because of the brand new cast, which I'll get to in a minute, or the fact that it's the first sequel to come. It's the fact that it will be the first ever Yellowstone show without the dominance of the Duttons in it. Yes, you heard it right. For the first time ever, we will meet with the other side of this family, and naturally, this story. So let's talk about it. If you didn't know, the Madison focuses on a modern-day family, the McIntoshes, who leave behind their high-powered New York City lives and relocate to Montana's Madison River Valley. I mean, is it just me, or does this sound like a pretty good premise? Because yes, shows set against stunning natural backdrops slap. But more than that, who wouldn't love watching people rebuild themselves after everything falls apart? It's the perfect premise for any show, honestly, even without the Yellowstone link to it. On top of all this, we have a stunning cast. Michelle Pfeiffer plays Stacy Clyburn, who is basically the woman at the center of this whole family storm. And I'm not going to lie, I kind of gasped when I found out Michelle was cast for the show. Because if you are keeping up with her, you know very well that Michelle doesn't just show up for anything. When she takes a role, it usually means there's something really rich and meaningful going on in the script. Like she must have really liked this story and trusted it. There is no other explanation for it. And from what I've heard, her character, Stacy, is going to be the emotional anchor of the series. Basically, she will be the glue holding everything together. So she is the woman version of John Dutton, and I love her already. But let me know if you have high hopes for this character. Stacy's daughter, Abigail, is played by Bo Garrett, and she's recently divorced and raising a daughter of her own named Bridget. There's also Paige, who's married to an investment banker named Russell. And then there's Paul, played by Matthew Fox, whom you might remember from the legendary TV series Lost, who already sounds like the emotionally guarded outdoorsman I always fall for in these stories. He's described as this self-reliant bachelor who lives close to nature, and I can just feel it coming. To me, this means that he's going to be one of those characters who speaks in quiet, meaningful one-liners, probably while fixing a fence or staring off into the mountains. Kind of pretentious, honestly, but his character on Lost was not much that different, so I guess that suits Matthew as an actor. As you can see, I'm already in too deep into these characters, and the show hasn't even premiered yet. Well, this is the outcome of having no life other than Yellowstone people. Do not end up like me. Anyway, the rest of the cast is absolutely stacked as well. I'm talking Amaya Miller, Ben Schnetzer, Kevin Zegers, Rebecca Spence, Danielle Vasanova, and more. The weird thing is that we say all these character names, and yet not one of them has the last name Dutton. That's right, not a single Dutton to be found in this Yellowstone series. Well, at least not yet. So how does this series link to the Yellowstone franchise then? Here's the thing. The director, Christina Alexandra Voros, gave us a little tease as she said, "We are in Montana, but it is seen through a completely different lens, so it feels like another facet of this cut stone that has been polished." So this will have the Yellowstone vibe, but with a personal touch. At least, that's what I'm getting from these words. But feel free to disagree with me in the comments, though. I don't think this is enough reason to call this series a Yellowstone show. And guess what? I am right. There is one more angle to this story, which is arguably the most important thing that links it to the Yellowstone franchise. You guys all remember how 1923 ended, right? Elizabeth, who was pregnant, decided to leave Montana and head back to Boston. And then we basically got no information on her whereabouts. We never hear what happened to her or to the baby. And that loose thread is just the secret string tying the Madison to the Dutton saga, because the McIntosh family are actually Elizabeth's descendants. So yes, that baby she was carrying is basically the beginning of a new Dutton line that grew up in the East, far away from the Yellowstone Ranch, but still carrying the legacy in their blood. And now, they're coming full circle, back to Montana, back to where it all started. It is suggested that Elizabeth gets married second time and raises Jack's son as a McIntosh, but she reveals in her will right before her death that he has another family and land in Montana. The McIntosh family ignores this link for as long as they can, until the life in New York collapses. If this is all true, then the Madison is the most clever Yellowstone spin-off series that we ever got so far, since it is expanding the Dutton story without spelling anything major out. It doesn't need to say, "Hey, look, these are the new Duttons." It just plants the seeds. It builds connections through emotion, through lineage, through land. And for someone like me, who's been watching this universe unfold for years now, That's exactly the kind of storytelling I crave. Like, I want this franchise to surprise me and keep renewing itself with new storylines, new faces. And that's exactly what the Madison is doing. But let me know what you think about it. Also, I can't help but notice that Michelle Pfeiffer has an extreme similarity to Michelle Rundolph, who plays the part of Elizabeth. So, as I said in the beginning, the casting checks out perfectly. If you didn't know, the Madison wasn't originally supposed to be its own show. It started off as a different project entirely, under the working title 2024, and it was initially supposed to focus more directly on the Dutton family. But somewhere along the way, the creative team pivoted. They reshaped the narrative, created an entirely new family, and gave them their own story to tell. And I don't know about you guys, but to me, this is the best direction that could happen to this new series. Could not be happier about it. Filming for the Madison started in September 2024, with shoots in Montana, Dallas, and Fort Worth, Texas. Everything wrapped up by December, and the show is now in post-production. That means they're editing, scoring, color correcting, all the stuff that gives a show its final shape and style. There's no official release date yet, which is driving me a little crazy, but I'm holding out hope. If everything goes smoothly, maybe we'll get lucky and see it in late 2025. If not, then early 2026 is probably a safer bet. Either way, I'm already clearing my schedule. For more weekly updates on the Yellowstone universe, make sure to like and follow. Meanwhile, the video on the screen might also interest you.